Hi everybody, welcome to Keiki Camp. Today's project is my favorite and we're gonna do this really fun animal collage, and I'm gonna walk you through the steps and show you how to do everything to make sure your eyes turn out really beautiful like this and your collage is a success. Let's get started. All right, so we've got inside the packet, you have your blackboard here, and you also have instructions. I have two sets here. I'm gonna put my board so we can reference it, what it'll look like. So you've got your instructions. There's also a piece of paper in here that we're gonna trace onto. You've got your crayons, oil pastels, your paintbrush, Mod Podge, and then black and white paint. Came like that. I also need for you to have ready water, paper towel for cleanup. You're gonna need scissors and a pen or pencil to trace. I do have a little palette here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use it or not, but I have it just in case. You could have a little plate even. Okay, we are going to start, just set everything kind of aside. We don't need this stuff quite yet. What I do need is my white piece of paper. And the first steps in here, oh my gosh, so exciting. I have drawn a few patterns in here. We're going to actually do the bird today, like this, but you can refer to this and do many other animals as well. On this little chart right here, I talk about eye placement. It's very important where you place the eyes, which kind of animal it's going to look like. The way the pupils look will be very important. Cats have more of a diamond-shaped pupil. Dogs have one that's kind of in the center of their eye, and then birds have kind of this half moon shape. And then we'll talk about the placement of the eyes and everything too. But today I'm going to focus on how to do the bird and the beak. So first thing I'm going to do is cut. I'm going to be careful I don't cut the instructions because you guys might want to use these later. So we'll put that on the side. Maybe face it up so I can see what it looks like. And then I'm gonna go ahead and cut out the eyes. And these are very similar. Well, the two eyes should be just alike. Actually, not just similar, but just alike. You can just cut out one and trace it twice. I have this piece of paper right here. I'm going to trace it twice. And I'm actually tracing it on, this is a heavier cardstock that I'm tracing it on. Trace it another time. I'm also being conscious of where I'm placing it. Placing them kind of close together because I need this portion right here for my beak that I'm actually going to cut out. If you wanted to do a dog or cat, we also have the nose there too. You could do that later if you wanted to repeat this fun project. I love this because we're using mixed media in it. Mixed media means we're using several different things that we work with to create our finished project. For example, we're going to use paint today. We're also going to use crayons, which are oil pastels. We're going to use glue. So lots of different things. Okay, this is very important, and it also says in your instructions, do not cut these out until you have completely painted them and colored them. It's just easier that way if you leave them on this piece of paper first. So now we're going to talk about the eyes. So for the bird eyes, like I said, bird eyes, the pupil shape is kind of this half moon. So here's my eye right here. I'm going to trace and do a half moon. I didn't trace, I just drew that. We're going to repeat that and do it here on this one. Okay, so those are my eyes. I'm now going to take my black paint and fill in the pupil. So be very careful when you open this. We've done this before. You just gently kind of pull one tab up and the other tab down to unlock it and open it. I think I'm doing it the right way. It's a little tough for me to do both of them, so I'm just going to cut it. Maybe it'll be easier for me to pull it this way. You might need your parents' help, somebody's help to help you open this up, like I do. Lisa, can I get your help? It's kind of, I really press this on good. I don't know if you guys know this, but we make all of these little guys here. And we wanted to make sure it's really secure. While she's getting that one, I'm gonna try and do this white one on the side. Okay, thank you so much. So I've got my black here, and I'm gonna take my paintbrush. I'm not even gonna take any water, but just a little bit on the tip of my brush. And again, you don't want a lot. This actually goes a long way. And I'm just gonna brush on. You can always grab just a little bit more. Thank you for having strong hands, Miss Lisa. Strong fingers. There we go. I want this to dry quickly, so I'm just doing a very light coat. It's okay if you go out of the lines, because we're gonna cut it out later. Anytime you need to pause the video, pause so you can get yours all painted before you move to the next step. It's nice that we have these recorded sessions so you could do that. Whoops, I almost went into that other color, to the other eyeball. Okay, so now I've got my pupils painted in with the black paint. I'm gonna clean off my brush, make sure it's super clean and dry. Now let's put the paint aside too. We don't want anything to happen to that. I'm gonna go in my Crayons. Now I'm gonna choose the colors that I want for the bird's eye. I think I'm going to do red and yellow again. Should I do red and yellow? Or should I do green and blue? What do you think, Lisa? Green and blue? Okay, let's do it. Green, blue, and actually I will do a little bit of yellow. Let's see. I've been using these a lot, as you can tell. Okay, so choose 2 to 3 colors. So my blue is going to be dark. When you do use your Crayons a lot, you're going to get into the paper portion of it. You just want to peel back a little bit of that paper to expose the Crayon. This one broke a little bit. That's fine. I'm just going to use that. And I've got my green and yellow. And when I do this, I'm going to go from dark to light. This is a little tricky getting that. There we go. So I'm going to say my green's going to be dark, and then I'm going to go into blue, then yellow. This looks dry to me. So the outside of my eye, right here, I'm going to take my Crayon, And on the outside, I'm going to go like this and kind of radiate into the eye. You know, like a sunshine, a burst, it radiates out. So I'm going to go in this direction, pointing all my strokes towards the pupil. Okay? And then closest to the eye, I'm going to do my lightest color. So I'm going to go in and go like this. And if a little bit goes into the black, that's okay. And I'm going to radiate from the pupil, just like that. Seems I've got some other colors on here, that's fine. Okay, now in this little space right here, I'm actually going to take my blue and go in between the two. Oh my gosh, loving this. Look how beautiful that is. Pulling the two colors together. Now if I wanted to blend even more, I could take my yellow. Look at that. I could do this all day. It really looks like a nice eyeball. Okay, we're going to repeat that step right here. Starting with our darker color, which is, mine's going to be green, radiating out. In and out, working my way around. My lightest color next to the pupil. And look, my black wasn't quite dry. It's totally okay. Just pulled a little bit out. Let's add some blue now in between. Could even do white in between if you wanted to. Have fun with this. Little yellow. Wow. I can't wait to see what colors you guys chose. So now I've got these great eyes. Let's move to the beak. I'm gonna do blue and pink. Yeah, I'll do a little blue and pink on my beak. So I'll go like this and color the outside of my beak. See that? And then I'll take the yellow, I'm sorry, pink, what am I saying? Pink, and go inside. And then now I want to blend it with the blue. So I'm just going to go over it. And this adds a little bit of shading, a little bit of texture, just kind of changes it up a little bit. Can even go over it with the pink. I want you guys to have fun with this part, blending the colors together. So fun. If you wanted to do a little bit darker around the edge, you could use a purple, or I actually have this darker blue. I'll go around the beak. So fun. All the different combinations we can create. Go in with the pink again for some shading. Okay, now that I've got the eyes and the beak complete, I'm going to cut it out so I can still see my line under there. I'll cut it. This will make it easier so I can cut each one out. Cut right around that eyeball. And again, if you guys want to do this project again, you've got your templates that you can make other animal eyes. It's the same concept when you do it, and you're going to radiate around the pupil when you paint, draw with your crayons. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut this guy out. Ta-da! And then finally my beak. I kind of got out of the lines on this one. It's okay. You could draw different size beaks too to make it a different type of bird. This is just one template I wanted to show you guys. Okay. I'm gonna take, this has all my like crayon shavings on. I'm gonna put that aside. Okay, now we're gonna get our black piece of foam core. This is called foam core. It has a little piece of foam inside and it's black. Now we talked about on our eye placement here in the little chart, it shows that the bird eyes should go up and they're kind of tilted like this. You could put them close together or you could put them a little further apart. I'm going to place them about like that. And then the beak. Oh my gosh, this bird is so cool. But you guys can see how I tilted the eyes up just like I've done. I'm just copying my eye placement chart here for the animal that I'm doing. I'm doing the bird and then the beak right here. Okay, I'm ready for my Mod Podge. So this is basically just glue. I'm gonna pour some out. And then we can take our brush and I'm going to paint that glue or Mod Podge on the back side of my cardstock. This was looks like an old ad that I'm using, but it's cardstock. Okay, and I'll place this down, add a tilt. Let's do it with the other one. Paint that on there. Recycling this paper, that's what I'm doing. And then add a tilt. And then the beak. This is nice cardstock that my advertising team let me use. Okay, and then our beak. So you can start to see it come together. Now before the glue dries on here, I'm going to put it in my water and get that out. All right, so my pieces are down. I'm gonna make sure all those little shavings are off from the crayons. Now I'm ready to start painting my feathers. And this is going to be important for whatever animal that you're doing. And in the eye placement, pupil shape, I kind of showed you some directions of where feathers or fur goes in this. And for the eyes, actually we're going to start with the pupils. I'm going to put black right here to clean up that line. There we go. Just a dab of black. Because when I was painting earlier, it kind of went in. Okay. Now I want to make the little nostrils for the bird. They'll be at an angle like this on both sides. And I'll just simply take my paintbrush and do 2 little angles like that. Now I want to dip in the black and a little bit in the white. Black and white is going to create a little gray. I'm going to do this shape right here. You guys see this? We're actually going to go right over the eyeball. So I'm going to start from the center here, and I'm going to take a brush stroke and go right over the eye. Now he's starting to become an angry bird because of the direction of the feathers I'm choosing. I'm going to take a little black and a little white, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to go over his eyeball. See that? So he's starting to come alive. Little black, little white, and we're going to start radiating the feathers from this center point. And I just grab a little white, little black, and just keep doing some feathers to fill it in. But the key is that you've gone over, whoops, his eyeball. Gone right over what we taped down or pasted down. So this, I think, looks really, really good. Next, I want to do some feathers that come around his eye in this direction. See that? I did angles, and I kind of made them like little eyelashes all around his eye. Grab a little more paint because I'm almost out. Little black, little white. I find by putting both colors on your brush, it gives the highlights and the dark, the highlights and the shadows as you're doing it. Let's do the other side. Little black, little white. Start from the center and angle out. It's really starting to come alive. Let's now do some angles and radiate out like that. From kind of under his beak a little bit, we'll radiate out. So the next part, I want you to clean your brush. We're going to actually make the highlights in his eyes. So clean your brush, wipe it dry, and let's take just a little bit of white, and we'll do little highlights, and this is just pressing with your brush and going down and around. And this part, every part that we're adding really is making your bird come alive, and I really see it with this. I'm going to grab a little more white, and this time I'm going to put a highlight here and maybe a little bit there. I feel like we can still add some feathers in here. Oh, let's do in his little nostril, there's a little highlight there and there. Okay, a little more white, a little more black, and let's continue. Let's do more feathers. I'm going to have him come over his nose a little bit too, so his nose isn't sticking out so much. Oh, I'm really getting excited as I see him coming alive. And I'm just going to make these strokes a little bit bigger. Little black, little white. You can see we just don't need a lot of paint for this. Maybe a little bit more around his eye. And if you think you've got it too, if there's too much white, well then just pick up some of your black paint and you can put it on your brush to darken it up a little bit. I think I'm about there. Now I gotta think of a name for this guy. He's pretty cute. Okay. I think we're done, guys. This was such a fun project and probably my most favorite, and I'm so excited I got to share it with you guys. Please, please, please take pictures of yours and share it with us either on our Instagram, which is BF Crafts, or even our Facebook page, Ben Franklin, Hawaii. Hey everybody, we're back. Just finished up our beautiful birds. Now I wanted to show you how you could do a cat and a dog based on these same eye templates, but then going and referring to your eye placement and pupil shape. We're gonna start with the cat. And so the cat eye that we're gonna do, we wanna take our pencil and draw the pupil. So this time the pupil takes up most of that eye portion. And then we're going to draw this part. Actually, this might be the pupil, which is kind of a diamond shape for cats. There we go. We want to do the same thing to this one and make that a diamond shape. You could even do a big triangle, upside down triangle, I think would work too. Okay, just like before, we want to go ahead and color everything in before we cut it out. This just makes it way easier. If we were to cut it out and then try and hold it, it's really tough. So I like to go ahead and color everything on our paper before we cut it out. So for the cat, I've got my black open that we're going to just grab a little bit of that black. Again, you don't need a lot. I'm just gonna paint this in. Less is more. Paint that nice shape. It's like a big diamond. I know my kitty cat's eyes, this part gets really big when she's focused on something that she wants, and it gets really small when she's lazy. So there we go. And again, I don't use a lot of paint because I want it to dry quickly. And you'll know when it's dry when it's a matte finish. It's not shiny anymore. Clean up that line. Okay. Clean out my brush, put my black away, let this dry. Let's see, what colors do I want to use? I think I'm gonna do a dark green on the outside and maybe a gold and a yellow would be nice for my cat eye. So around this area right here, we're going to come in and point towards that diamond shape. See how I have my lines kind of squiggling in like that? Squiggling in. Gonna do the same thing above here. Actually, with this being green, it kind of looks like grass. Gonna go in all around, starting with my darkest color around the outside. And it's okay if you kind of go on the outside of this edge, totally fine. But I've got my green. Whoops, I got a little bit of black in there, not gonna worry about that. Then my lightest color is gonna be the yellow. I'm going to come out from the center of that pupil, but not quite touch the green. And if you have a little bit of black in there, don't worry about that. It's just gonna add and make your cat eye very dramatic. If that bothers you, just wait a little bit longer to make sure all of that black is dry. I think it kind of enhances it a little. I'm going in that radiating form. Now I'm gonna take, this is kind of a gold color. Your selection of crapaws might be a little bit different. Choose whatever colors you want. But the important thing is we're going from dark to light. I'm going on, oh my gosh, I love that. This is in between now. And I'm pulling those colors. Oh my gosh, I love it. In between the two. Grabbing a little bit of that black. Oh, this cat's eye is on fire. I'm gonna do the same with this one, in between, radiating, and I'm pulling that yellow into the green and vice versa. Again, I had a little bit of black from the pupil come with my color, but it looks great. Okay, I'm loving this. Now let's talk about the nose. The nose is gonna be a little pink. So I've got my pink, and I'm just gonna sketch it in just like that. I'm happy with that. Okay, let's go ahead and cut these out. You want to make sure that it's dry before you cut it out so you don't get that black paint everywhere. And these again are my cat eyes. I'll show you dog eyes shortly. These are cat. Like there's something staring at me. And I'll cut out the little nose. The nose is going to be the same for the dog too. You could always change the color. Maybe your dog's nose isn't pink. Maybe it's a different color. Push these aside. Got my black foam board, same just like we had for the bird. This time again, cat's eyes are going to be angled, so I really want them at a nice tilt. You can make them far apart. Close together is kind of silly, so I'm gonna do them just like that. And I like to place it down so I can see the placement and how I want it on there. If you wanted to too, you could take your pencil, and once you have it in place, you could just kind of trace your pencil to make a light line so you don't forget where it's going to go, because that could be a little confusing when you take it up. It's just lightly on there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but now I have a reference to where I want to put it. I'm gonna make sure I clean my brush off really, really well. And I take my Mod Podge, pour some in there. Take my eye and paint the Mod Podge, which again is just glue. Coating it on the back. Mod Podge is a great glue because it dries fast too. Okay, put that eye. Now the next one. And it's great because I put those little pencil lines in. It helps me to line up exactly where I want this eye to go. I don't know if you can see the pencil lines, but I can see them. Okay, put that down, and then the nose, I have a little pencil line there. I can actually put the Mod Podge here if I wanted to, and then lay that down. Great. Clean out my brush. And my black is already open, thank goodness. That was a little tough for me to open earlier. So happy the black and the white paints are open. Okay, so now for the cat eyes, I actually want to take just the black paint and I'm going to outline around the cat eye. I'm gonna totally just kind of brush on an outline. I'm also gonna go in here because that I want black as well. So already it's becoming more like a kitty cat. I'm gonna do the same thing on this one. I'm gonna outline the eye. It's like kind of putting makeup on her. Outline. So I'm covering the edge of the paper, just the edge, and painting onto the black foam core. I don't want to forget to paint the black in this part too. We'll do some highlights in a little bit and you'll see how that's going to work in our favor. Now with the black, we also want to go and put some on the nose. So I'm going to go around the outside of the nose, and by doing this it makes the nose and the eyes set in the black foam core so it looks like it's part of it. Now take the tip of your brush and I want you to do a little edge of the nose like that. We'll grab a little bit more paint and we're going to come in and just do a little bit for the nostril, just a little bit like that. All right, now let's start making the cat fur. I've already got black on my paintbrush. I'm going to take a little bit of white, maybe a little bit more black, just like we did for the bird, and we're going to do some kind of, not whiskers, but fur in this direction. So radiating from between the eyes, a little bit of that gray. Then I also want, I just picked up a little white and we're gonna do like this little mouth part here with the white. Just kind of did 2 half circles. Now when I did that from the center of her eye right here, I bring it out and kind of circle it up to the center of that pupil. Maybe I'll grab a little bit more black and just keep making that circle. And then let's give a little chin down there, the little hair, furry. Okay, now let's continue with a little black, a little white mixture. We're gonna do some little, usually the hair on their nose is kind of short, so I'm just using choppy little brush strokes like this for the nose portion. Little white, little black, and we're going to continue around the eye. Oh, this looks great. Just kind of outlining those eyes again. Oh, this kitty cat's looking good. Let's do some highlights in the eyes. Grab a little bit of white, and this what really makes her come alive. I'm gonna do a little mark there, and a little mark here, and a little mark there, a little one there. So she's starting to really come alive. Let's do a little highlight on the nose here, a little bit on the nostril, and there. Also, so the eye, let's define it a little bit more with some white. I'll just take, there we go. Little outline like that for the white. Now the cat's got whiskers too, so we're gonna put these little dots that the whiskers will come from. And then you can make her little whiskers. Go down like that. And let's just continue with some more fur to make her really dramatic. Right here we can do some more like this. I guess, is that kind of like the cat cheeks, I guess. And then down from the eyes. Now there's all different kinds of kitty cats out there. This one's pretty cute. Okay, so there we have how you can do the cat face and eyes. You can always add more fur as you want to. Make it as light or as dark. I love these dramatic colors. When the black and white blends together, you get that great fur, great gray color. Okay, so there is your kitty cat. Let's move on and do the dog now. So for the dog, I'm gonna clean out my brush. Let's talk about those dog eyes. So here we have our, I traced the templates again just on a firm piece of paper, and I'm gonna take my pencil, and just like I did on the cat, I'm gonna look at this, my template. I'm making that part really big, but this time with the dog, we wanna do circles in the eye. So we're gonna see the full circle of the eye. See that? I've chosen blue and gray for the colors that we're gonna do. Let's go ahead and add the paint. Take a little bit of black. I'm gonna go ahead. Again, just a little bit because we want this to dry, and do that full circle. You want it to really take up a lot of his eye. I'm actually making it just a tad bit bigger than I had with the pencil. Okay, and do that again. So happy we got this paint in our kits. It actually goes quite a long way. We've been able to do cat, dog, and bird. Okay, there's the eye. I'm also gonna go in and do this part of the pupil, or this part where it's usually white. We're gonna color that black. If you didn't have paint, you could also use a marker if you wanted to. Kind of stay in the lines because you want to know where to cut it out to. Don't forget about that. And let's move to the nose. For the dog nose, I'm actually going to keep it pretty gray. We'll go ahead and just do a little bit of black a little bit of white. And I'm just painting his nose for now. We'll get into that later. Okay, my favorite part. Yep, the center's dry. So we're gonna take a dark, I've got dark blue, light blue, and gray is what I'm using. Again, you can choose whatever colors you want. I've used this blue a lot, so I gotta peel that paper back. And on the, I always start with the outside. So I'm gonna do radiating from the center. Try and stay within. A little bit of that black wasn't quite dry, that's all right. Okay, next I'm gonna do light blue actually on the inside. You can use any combination you want. But I'm trying to make it kind of skinny so I can do my gray in between. Oh, that's nice. And always in the same kind of radiating direction. Light blue. I didn't leave myself much space. It's okay. Gray. In between. White is another good color to blend with in between. Oh, that looks great. Okay, time for the scissors. Cut our dog's eyes out. I've never had a dog, only kitty cats. Grown up with kitty cats. But I like dogs. If you painted over your pencil lines, you can always take your template and put it right on top of that and draw them again so you know what to follow. Got our eyes, and then let's do our nose. If you cut it out just a little bit bigger, that's okay too. Because like we've done in the others, we have painted over it with the black and white paint. Oh, these dog eyes are kind of crazy. There. They're facing weird ways. Oh, these are so fun to see all the different colors. Okay. He looks a little scared. Okay, let's make him come alive. So we're going to do the placement. Don't forget, eye placement and pupil shape. That little piece of paper really helps you figure out how you want to turn them. So the dog's eyes are usually more straight across. They're not tilted like the bird or the cats are tilted. They're more just kind of straight across. And then the nose is in the center. I'm going to take my pencil just so I can sketch down placement where I want them to be. I'm just loosely doing it, not going over the whole thing. You could really give them character by like if you put them way far out from each other, it like becomes another dog. I feel like if you move his nose way down, or if you move them close to each other. You can make all kinds of characters. That's kind of fun. Okay, time for your Mod Podge. I'm gonna pour out just a little bit more to make sure that's wet. Clean my brush, make sure it's dry. Take my glue. This time, check it out, I'm doing it on top because I traced it. I know how much Mod Podge I need for that space, and Mod Podge is glue, so I just put the eye right in that area. Easy. Same thing here. So you can put it on the back of this or on your foam core. I'm gonna have to think of a name for all of these fun animals I just painted. Maybe you guys can put a message. Let us know what we should name the animals. That could be fun. Okay, so we've got our eyes across and the circles to make it look more like a dog. Now let's start on our brush strokes, how to make him come alive. We're gonna go with a little bit of white paint and a little bit of black paint. And we're going to, the dog has kind of this. Before on the cat, we only came kind of halfway up and a little more wide. This one is closer together. A little bit of black, a little bit of white. So from the center of his pupil, and then like this. Already I feel like he's really taking on a character of a dog and starting to look like that. Let's do some dots in his eyes, because that makes him come along too, alive. We're gonna do some little circles here and a circle here. In here. Can you guys see him? He's coming alive. Now with the white, let's go around his nose. And I'm just kind of sketching. I'm not being perfect about where I'm just sketching kind of around it. Now I'll take a little bit of black. Now the dog's nostrils, check this out. You have a dark black line here. And then it kind of has this little curly Q. I can't explain it. It's just kind of like a little curly Q. And then we'll do a little one on this side. Okay, so black. Now I find that if I do kind of a mark here, let me get a little more white so you guys can see it. There we go. That kind of indicates his forehead. And then like the bridge of his nose. Maybe a little bit there too. Now let's go over his eyes. I'm going to grab a little bit of black, a little bit of white. And this time we're going to come right over his eye. Remember how on the bird we really went at an angle like that? This time we're going on top of his eye. So it's like his eyelid isn't really shut, but his lid is kind of on top there. A little bit of black, a little bit of white. Same thing over here. And that's kind of really resting his eyes inside his face. Does that make sense? I don't know. That's what I mean. I think you guys can see it, how it's coming together, though, and what's happening. I'm going to take a little bit of white just to show some contrast around his eye. Maybe a little bit of black because it's maybe too highlighted there. There we go. He's cute. All right, let's do some little dots. where his whiskers would come from. And then here, maybe it's where under his chin. Some of you might have a little more room. You could do a little chin if you had room. Mine kind of went far down. Now I'm just gonna kind of give him some eyebrows. And you don't have to paint the whole thing. This is just giving the idea that it's a dog, right? I'll do a little bit more here to take up a little bit more space. And finally, a little highlight, let's do on his nose right there. Okay, guys. Can you see your cool dog now? Just kind of outlining that pupil a little bit. And there we have it. We have made a dog, a kitty cat, and a bird today. I hope you guys enjoyed our animal collage, and I can't wait to see pictures of yours. Please send them to us. We would love to see them. Take care. Bye.